And we're going to start with David Lake from Inside the U. David, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, I want to ask you just about the challenge of facing a 3-3-5 defense. What are some of the keys with the 3-3-5 defense? And is it fair to say it's like a high-risk, high-reward type of defense, and there's potential big plays there if you guys do things right?
Yeah, you could say that. I mean, the 3-3-5, the odd stack, whatever you want to call it, is, nobody really – I'd say nobody – not as many teams run it anymore. But the defensive coordinator there, Gibby, I mean, he's been doing it since he was at West Virginia for a long time and was very successful there, has brought it to NC State and has really given them a chance to be very successful. I think it plays to the strengths of their personnel. They got 3 really good linebackers. They got a lot of length on the back end. And so for an offense, it's not like playing a triple option team, okay, but it's from the uniqueness of when a defense plays an option team, they don't ever see it. It's kind of that way for us. People play odd front, they play even front, they play all kinds of stuff. But the stack is very, very unique. And so, to your point, yeah, it gives you chances to make some big plays, but it gives them chances to do what they do well, and they make a lot of big plays out of it as well.
Coach, we've got Susan Miller-Degnan from the Miami Herald. Susan, go ahead.
Hey, Coach.
Hey.
So UM is ranked in the top third of the ACC with an almost 44% third down conversion percentage. What's been the most significant factor in the improvement? Is it mostly De'Eric, or if it's a combination of factors, what are the most significant ones? And I have a follow that's related to that.
Okay. Yeah. In fairness, I don't know the best way to tell you what's been the biggest reason for an improvement, because I'm not totally sure what happened a year ago. So it's kind of hard to compare the two. I do think when we've been successful this year, honestly, we've been when we're good on early downs, we're in third and manageable situations. We weren't great on third down against Pitt or Clemson, and you look back at the end of the game, you go, well, why? Well, we had like 5 or 6 third and 11 pluses in both those games, and it doesn't matter who you are, you get third and 11 plus, you're going to really struggle. But having a quarterback who can get the ball out and obviously can make plays with his feet helps. Obviously, last week we had some guys on the perimeter make some big plays, and I think we've been able to run the ball on third down too at times, which has helped us not be quite as maybe predictable. So
and then the follow is what's the third down percentage rate that would have made you satisfied at this point before the season, and what percentage is a realistic ceiling, or could you realistically hope for?
That's a great question. Overall, our goal in every game is to be 45% or better. And the reason we have our goals and statistics lined up is most years 45% or better is going to get you somewhere around the top 25 in the country in third down percentage, whether it's 23 one year, 28 one year, but that's kind of a good measuring stick. And so obviously any game you go 50% or better on third down, you feel really good. But as a realistic goal, that's why we've set it at 45. And it all works together, right? Like 3rd and 1 to 2, you expect to be 80 and 90% effective. Whereas, 3 to 10, it's more in that 50 range. And then 11 plus, you go into the 20, 15% range. And so staying out of those 11 pluses helps drive that percentage the direction we want it to go.
Thank you.
Coach, we've got Manny Navarro from The Athletic. Manny, go ahead.
Hey, Coach Lashlee, how are you?
Hey, Manny.
Hey, so obviously Coach told us Brevin is healthy back this week. Curious as to, when you look back at those first 4 games that he did play, just what you thought of his play and what, where you hope to see him get to here over the second half of the season.
Yeah, I thought, especially you look at, the Louisville and the really the second half of the UAB game and the Louisville and the Florida State game, I thought he showed that, he was one of our better playmakers. And obviously having him and Will healthy is something we've been striving for since week 1. It's good to have him healthy and have him back. And, I would hope that he would pick up where he left off and, be one of our more explosive playmakers for us.
Thanks.
Coach, got 2 more for you. We're going to go to Gary Furman first from Canesport. Gary, go ahead.
Hey, Rhett, how you doing this week?
Hey, Gary.
I imagine, coming off the bye week and, looking back at the last couple games, that one of your big initiatives this week is going to be to get the running game going again, the way you had it early in the season. And when I watched these guys play North Carolina, they gave up huge chunks of yards what did you see there? I guess Carolina ran for over 326 yards without obviously giving your game plan away. What did you see there? And, why do you think, I mean, they seem to have a decent linebacker crew, and what made them so susceptible to the run game?
Well, I think their base scheme is really good in that it, the 3-3 stack, like we talked about earlier, allows you to get to almost a 7 or 8 man front. But then because you're in an odd structure and you've kind of packed the box with those linebackers, when it is a time when you're in that structure and then the team drops back to pass, the corners and safeties are deep, designed to take away the big play, but there's an extra zone defender in that middle layer. So in general, they do a good job. I think what North Carolina was able to do is just to keep attacking, and they're good enough to make plays in the passing game on the perimeter that put enough pressure on NC State to now have to adjust for that, which then opened up the running lanes. Because if you look at the course of that game, they weren't just running them over early. They had to throw the football to open up the run. But at the end of the day, yes, we want to run the football better because that's what we want to do. Obviously, having the bye week allowed us to maybe try to clean some things up. But every game we go into, balance is a big deal for us, and it starts with being able to run the football.
And then one other thing, obviously you were able to bust out Harley quite a bit in the last game. Is that something that, I guess I got to think you want to try to build on that now? I mean, you've been trying to get that element of the offense going, for much of the season with the receivers getting more explosive and things like that. How can you build on that this week?
Yeah, we just got to make that, who we are. We've got to make that a consistent habit and not let that be a one-time thing. I think sometimes, I was really excited for Mike to kind of feel like he stepped up and led that group. I think sometimes guys get excited after a game and they say things. Look, our guys haven't been working any harder since the Clemson game than they were before. They weren't staying after the Clemson game and not before. They've been really working hard. I think the Clemson game really gave those guys some eye-opening of, it's one thing to work really hard, but at some point we have to go out and do it. We have to go out and take what we feel like we're working on and make it who we are. And I think it became a mindset of, we're extremely determined and extremely competitive, and let's go out and show that we are capable of being a good receiving group. And so, we talked about that against Pitt. We thought it was getting closer. They made some big plays against Virginia, and we're going to have to continue that, so people don't think that was just a good night. That we want that to be who we are. We don't want this to be a deal where we come in and we're talking about how great we did. We want that to be who we are. And we got a lot of work to get there, but I know that's what those guys are striving for. So hopefully we can build on that this week.
Coach, last one for you. David Furones of the Sun Sentinel. David, go ahead for Coach Lashlee.
Hey, Coach. Sticking with the receivers, we saw competition still shows on the depth chart for those 3 spots with 9 guys overall. Will that continue to be done because it kind of worked? It was a success with what we saw against Virginia. And also I know for at least some of this competition, you haven't had some of the young wide receivers. Have there been any recent strides that you've seen over these 2 weeks from any of the young receivers that may incline you to believe that they may be ready to take a next step?
Yeah, I mean, I think competition is always going to make us better. And, we're kind of learning that's how our guys tick even more so than normal. But that's going to be who we want to be because, when guys are uncomfortable in a good way, it makes you bring your best every day. It doesn't allow you to relax. And I think that's good. So, yeah, we'll continue that really across the board. In terms of the young guys, I thought they were starting to do some really good things. We were without some of the guys the last game, but we still have a lot of confidence that those guys will continue to make strides throughout the season.